The World War I was over. All the countries and countrymen retreated back into their borders. And one among them was Australia. Their army entered their country with fanfare and firework. But things were not as sunny and sunshine as it seemed. The day was hot as hell. The Prime Minister's office was buzzing as usual, and the bureaucrats surrounded the Prime Minister with questions that were never-ending.
Recession is knocking on our doors!
We have no money.
No food.
Not even enough to buy us clothes.
We have to find a way.
We have to find it fast.
Prime Minister thinks for a moment, and something hits him. Something new, something innovative, and he shouts,
I have an idea.
And he immediately calls for a press meet shouting the same thing.
I have an idea.
Journalists looked at one another confused, and the Prime Minister announced that the government is going to give land to war veterans for agricultural purposes in Western Australia. He promised that the government will aid the veterans to make sure the land is turned into a profitable farming venture. People cheered. Bureaucrats smiled, thinking the war veterans will turn the land into an agricultural heaven, and food and fodder will pile up in their coffers. In days that followed, soldiers marched into the Western Australia with family and farming gears. They took a sigh of relief and happiness at the sight of endless land before them.
We're going to mint money,
Said a soldier with a grin from one end to another.
We are going to feed the entire Australia.
Shouted another. But it was then someone noticed something odd, something weird, and one soldier pointed.
Is that?
And the horde of veterans saw that, an army of emus walking down the vacant land. One man turned to his fellow.
That doesn't look good!
Other one laughed.
It's just a bird. What the hell can it do?
The soldiers began farming. They sing and laugh and drink beer in the gaps, and the dusk descends down. Soldiers march back into their homes, narrating how great was the day. A new dawn. Soldiers walk out of their homes with pitchfork and plows, and it was then they saw that the land they sowed the seed ransacked and lay waste.
What the hell?
Shouted a soldier, and someone pointed the finger again.
There!
And the whole horde looks up, and there they saw it, an army of emus standing on the far end of the land.
What?
The
Hell.
Time slips and limps forth. Town Hall has been filled to its brim by farmers, angry, annoyed, and aggravated. They shouted and argued to no end.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's final. It's decided. The emus have declared war on us.
They are attacking the field every night. We can't continue like this.
We fought the Great War and won. Do we look like imbeciles who would bow down to some emus? Enough is enough. If emus won't leave our land, then we will bring the war to them.
And the farmers-turned-soldiers writes a letter to their prime minister, asking for the aid he has promised in the beginning. And the letter reaches the prime minister's office. Officers read the letter over and over and over again to make sure they read it right.
Did the Axis powers train the emus and send to attack us?
How? How the hell is this even possible?
That's not the point. The point is, they've requested our help, and we must protect our farmers. Deploy the troops.
Prime Minister's announcement reaches the camps and cantonment. Soldiers assembled one after another. They chose their guns and knives and even knife-wielding sticks as they ready themselves to the journey before them. The day dawns just like any other. Hot and humid like hell opened its mouth. The army walked into the farmland. Their boots shook the land they stepped on, and they stand in the periphery of the ground gazing at the land before them. A wind lashes out, and from far away, emus lift their heads one after the another. The commander chews on his cigar, grunting and growling, and the men behind him lifts their guns in perfect harmony. And the commander lifts his finger.
Men and women, the enemy is large in number and they are stupid. We know very well that war is terrible, but we should grow to be fond of it.
And he shouts,
Attack!
Soldiers marches forth hooting. Emus stand the same, and the soldiers fires their gun. But Emus runs away. Bullets hit the land like a rain unhinged. Furious soldiers push the trigger too much. Bullets fires down. Commander shouts at the top of his throat, yet emus keep running and evading them. And the machine guns malfunctions. Soldiers looks at each other shocked, and the emu stops their run and turns around slowly. The leader of the emus taps his feet and grunts something. The other emus nods and growls louder. And before the eyes of the soldiers, emus segregated and separated into different groups. and slowly they break into a bolt towards the soldiers, leaving the soldiers shocked and stunned. Farmers stood on either ends of the dusty road, muttering and mumbling endlessly, and the villagers watches as the soldiers limping back to the village with torn cloths and bloody face. Commander walks in the forefront, and the farmers mutter looking at them.
You killed the emus?
Asks someone from the crowd. The commander growls.
They are not emus! They are possessed emus!
The same prime minister's office, same prime minister, same bureaucrats, and the same journalists.
It appears the emus have outsmarted us. A strategic withdrawal is in order. Sometimes it is imperative that we let the nature takes its win. Let's consider this as one such event and end the war right here, right now.
The Great Emu War, as we comically call it now, is actually a great insight into the complexities of humans' interaction with nature. The decision to use military force against a population of mere birds was nothing short of human arrogance. They actually believed that they can win, that their dominion over the dominance of land extends far beyond the reign of the nature. Hubris. Human hubris. The thing is, humans think they've won. They behold that belief for so long. But the natural lifetime of an average human is mere 100 years, in fact less. And they think they've won whatever war they've waged against the nature within that time period. But the nature's age is millenniums. In fact, it's almost immortal. And what's a mere 100 years to an immortal deity? And by the time nature reacts, the ones who wages war are already long dead. But in her wrath, in her resentment, it's their descendants and their descendants that has been taken to an early grave. Truth is, in the grand scheme of things, nature will always win.